Good morning, SonLight Power fans. Clay Luna coming to you live from Honduras and Comayagua. I'm back at the EA site, Ayudante, the helper here in Honduras, and I'm with Tristan. Tristan is the site director, master of all here at the site, does it all, wears many hats. But you can see we're in the water tower room. If you followed the videos from before, back in November, December of last year, we came down here and we installed a fairly large system, a very complex system, made up of about 54 kW of solar power, had two 24 kW Sunny Island systems, two separate locations on the property because it's such a big property. We split it into two separate grids, used two separate meters, and this one's a little bit more complex than some of the ones we do because they have a pretty functioning grid here. It doesn't go out all the time, but it's enough to irritate you and want solar as a backup or batteries. And to offset power as well, and to turn those funds back into something else for the compound. Like Tristan did a video before, you can go back and watch that, it was amazing. But here on site, we just got back. I've been here for about 3 days, and over the last 3 days, the batteries finally came in. So we are using some Fortress eVault Max 18.5 kilowatt hour batteries. We got two of those for about 37 kilowatt hours. This system is pretty complex in the way that it operates because not only do they have the grid, they have batteries, you have a generator, you have solar PV, and then you have the loads, the whole compound that it controls. So these Sunny Islands back here, especially the master, controls all of that. And that's what we've had a little headache during the last 3 days is when the system actually kicks on, it will pull from the grid as it needs to if the batteries are low or the PV is not doing what it's supposed to, but then also they have the generator. And so when the generator kicks in, this system has to be able to know that the generator power is not as good as grid power possibly, and it has to switch over. So we've had to add some relays and some other switches in there and get the system to be able to recognize that. And so it just makes it very complex. But as soon as we fired the system up 12:30 last night, everything came on, had no power outages the night before we did. So hopefully the system should run effectively from here on out. We know the battery bank isn't exactly as big as we want right now, but based on funds and everything else as the mission goes through, it's what we've got. And it will be very effective in the long run of keeping the generator kicking on, keeping power outages to a minimum, if not all in existence, and then just keeping them running 24/7 with grid type power or with solar power, with the grid as a backup, and then they've got the redundancy of having the generator. So with all that being said and the complications of the system, both are 100% now. They're both working fine. When the grid is down, generator kicks on. One of the coolest parts of this is they are fully digital. So both systems are online, populating data. We can actually register the battery. We can see what the charge is. We can see how much solar power is coming in. I think Tristan will change that view for you. There you go. So now you can see right now they're producing about 14 kilowatt hours or 14,000 watts of solar power coming in. This is for the solar shop, which is going back into the batteries. Batteries are charging at about 11,000 watts. So that's actually using about 3,000 watts or 2,000 watts of power for the compound, and then fully chopping those batteries off with sunshine power. So I want Tristan to kind of give you an update. Now that we have the batteries, you saw what solar would kind of mean to the compound before. What do the batteries add to that whole equation?
Well, as we had the system running since December, and so we've already seen the reduction in our utility bills. But in the last 8 months, I can't tell you how many all day long power outages we had. And we all just it was so frustrating because we had these solar panels on the roof, ready to get power and couldn't do anything. And so adding in the batteries, what that does is when they do maintenance on the system and shut the power down for all day, or there was a storm, something got knocked out, and it's a sunshiny day, we are fully operational, no generators running anymore, not burning any gas in that.
Sure.
And there's no, we don't have to reset our clocks anymore. So 2 nights ago, Clay's first night here, 3 in the morning, power went out, and it's just hard to sleep when there's zero noise.
Yeah.
And so last night, the entire campus was on batteries between the two grids. And really, I mean, I set the bar pretty high. I said, Clay, this is what I want to make happen. And this was 2 years ago now. We started dreaming about solar in 2014. So that's almost 10 years ago. And now we have it functioning. I mean, I could go turn the grid off and the lights won't flicker.
Nope.
Nothing will happen. The clinic will run 100%. And it's a clinic that sees 20,000 people a year.
That's amazing.
And it's never going to have lights out. So we are so excited. I'm amazed that it all works. I'm not surprised, but I'm amazed that it all works.
First time on this one. The other one took a little while with some learning curves, but we got this one. And Tristan's right. a system like this, it's easy to say, hey, put in a solar panel and a battery and get a little bit of power. The complexity of this one, for those that don't understand, to have a system controlling 5 assets of power, grid, batteries, generator, loads, all that,
Solar.
and have it all in solar, and have it all communicate. So one of the awesome parts of this is the batteries are communicating with the sunny islands, and it actually has the state of charge and how full they are, and it knows when to kick that on. So Tristan can set any parameter in the system he wants to tell the generator to run between 2 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock, the grid to charge between that time. He can tell the batteries when to charge, when not to charge. There's so many parameters that he can change on the system and tweak it to what EA needs exactly at that moment, that day, that month, that year. Maybe they know they got big teams coming in. Hey, we don't want to run the batteries as hard, and the grid's there. That's a little bit of load off the batteries. Let's use more grid power, not then more generator or more battery power, and save those and have them as a backup, as opposed to running them all night at a lower rate when there's no teams here. So the system would make a huge impact just on the batteries alone. But when you put the solar in there, it's revolutionary. It changes the whole game here for the compound to never lose power.
Yeah, we are so excited. We are so thankful for SonLight Power, for Clay, for the whole team that came down last year.
Absolutely.
It has been a dream come true, and today we are celebrating just the completion of the project. So thank you SonLight, thank you everybody that supported this project happening, all the members that are involved. It has been a dream come true here at El Ayudante.
We were blessed to do it. And so if you have any questions over any of this, feel free to text us, call us, email me personally, and I can answer any of those. If you're interested in it for your mission or anything else that you have going on, let us know. We'd love to help out. And as always, we couldn't do what we do